So let me ask you about with respect to asylum, because I think this is really important. So what happens if, before or during an arrest, under the provisions of this bill, a person tells a police officer that they are afraid to return to their country of origin and that they are here trying to seek asylum? What happens in that case?
It's a non-issue under our bill, under this bill, because again, and I've stated it before, but I'll state it again today, this bill does not want to interfere with anyone's ability to claim asylum. They can claim asylum, they can do that right now. This bill does not say they can't claim asylum. This bill says if they cross illegally, then they can't come across and say, King's X, I now want to claim asylum, you can't do anything to me. That's not what this bill does. This bill says we have laws, if passed, we have laws, they're in line with federal law, and you don't get to use that as a defense. Now, if someone wants to come into our country, they have every right to do so legally, and they have every right to claim asylum, but not as a defense to criminal prosecution.
Well, to go to my specific question, if someone is detained under this bill and they say to the arresting officer, I am here to seek asylum, basically you view that as a King's X that is not going to be permissible under the bill, that person is still going to be arrested and brought before a magistrate. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. So what happens if during an arrest or before an arrest, a person tells a peace officer they want to speak to a federal officer? If a migrant crosses over and immediately seeks out a peace officer and asks for asylum, is it correct to say that the officer under this bill, and I think you just answered this, would arrest the person and charge them with the crime of unlawful entry without any asylum determination? It sounds like that's what you volunteered in the last
We don't
answer.
want to be in the business. We don't want to do something unconstitutional, contrary to what some may think. And we don't want to be in the business of determining asylum or status or anything, but you can't cross illegally and then claim asylum under this bill as a defense to prosecution. So we don't want to prohibit anyone from seeking asylum. We don't want to prevent anyone from coming across legally. We don't want to prevent anyone from speaking to a federal government official in regard to that. But this bill only prohibits illegal entry into our state at a place other than a port of entry. We're not getting into asylum. We don't want to get into federal law. We want to stay clear of that. So that's the purpose of this bill.
Right, but by not getting into asylum, what you're saying is if someone tells a Texas law enforcement officer or a local law enforcement officer that they want to seek asylum, you are not going to, under this bill, they're not going to be permitted to do that. They're going to be arrested and brought before the magistrate.
Well, no, I'm not saying they can't do that. That's not what this bill says. The bill says they can't use that as a defense to criminal prosecution. It doesn't say you can't claim asylum. There's nothing in this bill that says you can't claim asylum.
Will they still be brought to a magistrate under this bill?
Sure. I mean, that's our process. If someone's charged with a criminal offense, they're entitled to be taken to a magistrate.
In my view, that would be a direct interference with the federal asylum process. But I think we have your answer, so I'll move on.